We're here in just down the street from Lakers headquarters in El Segundo, California. I guess I heard a little whooping and hollering when I left and got on the 105 freeway yesterday. It was the LeBron contract, maybe?
The Imperial Freeway for those
scoring at home.
LA.
Yes, indeed. That's correct. It's the King right by the Imperial Freeway. Can make heads or tails about what this contract means that LeBron James signed with the Lakers.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is a little bit simplistic, I agree, but he's given kind of a gift to the Lakers here. He didn't have to sign this now. He was eligible to sign this up until June 30th, 2023. He could have signed it at any time in there. And, you know, there was some we were waiting to see whether LeBron would use this contract uncertainty as any kind of leverage against the Lakers. Because, you know, last spring, or I guess it was the winter, when the Lakers didn't make a move at the trade deadline, didn't use draft picks in the future to sort of upgrade that team, LeBron was clearly miffed about it. And here they are into the summer, and they've got some draft picks that they haven't traded along with Russell Westbrook, at least not yet. And so the question was, would LeBron hold on to that piece of paper and wait to see if he could do that? And he elected not to. And so naturally, the first thing I did was check on this. Why does he do this now? He doesn't need the money. He doesn't, need the stability. He does want to be a Laker, but there was no danger of him not being a Laker, I don't think. And so the answer was he trusts the Lakers. He trusts them that they, despite having this in their pocket, that they will continue to push to try to rebuild a championship team around him. Now, you can aim at that. You can say that might be a mistake, but he has trusted the Lakers all along, Rich. When he was in Cleveland, he signed 3 contracts in 4 years. He always kept the Cavs on a short leash. Since he's been to L.A., he's always signed the maximum distance contract he could at the time. So he wants to be a Laker, and he trusts them. Whether or not that ends up being prudent, we'll have to wait and see.
So what tea leaves can you read that you think maybe has given LeBron more of a smart bet here to sign this? What's maybe going on behind the scenes to give LeBron that confidence in the Lakers that you think he has? What do you got for me on that?
Well, I think he's betting on the people still wanting to play for the Lakers. And that was one of the things that happened way back in 2018 when he came to L.A. They didn't really have much on the roster at the time. He basically was saying, I believe people will want to come play in L.A. with me. And he ended up being right. Within a year, Anthony Davis forced his way there, and it was the basis of them winning a championship. So some of this is just a wager on the Laker brand. I don't know what Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka promised him, or if they even told him anything about the draft picks that they have, because they've got these 2 first-round picks that they can trade, 27 and 29. If I were LeBron, I would have asked, are you going to trade those picks in this next year? I don't know whether that was asked. But when they had the meeting about this extension, which they had the first week of August, whatever LeBron heard, he liked it. And I think made the decision then he was going to work out a contract. I do think it's worth pointing out that he did leave, this is, being called a 2-year contract. It's really only a 1-year contract, Rich, because he has a player option on that last year. And the reason that that's relevant is that's when, under the current rules, his son Bronny would be eligible to join the NBA. Now, I have no idea whether or not he's going to be ready to join the NBA in 2 years. I have no idea whether LeBron is going to follow through with his request to, his desire to play with his son, and whether he'd actually leave to go to another team to do that. But I think it's worth pointing out that he did leave that window open with the way he structured this contract. So
that leads to my next question that may come across, Brian Windhorst, as sounding disrespectful to LeBron. Is it possible, so now that I've had that caveat, I could say anything I want, I guess, but is it possible that he just loves living out here, that his family loves living out here, that whatever's going on with the Lakers is good enough, that he might not win it all, but his brand is still as top-notch, A-plus sterling as it possibly can be. He likes playing for the Lakers. He likes some of the buzz. If they win, they win. If they don't, he's still coming out on top, and Bronny's right around the corner. Could that be possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this is a harsh way of putting it. And if he was on this call with us right now, he would probably push back on this really hard. And he may even be able to have some good points on it. But I'm not sure that winning it all is absolutely the number one thing for him right now. I think being happy with his life is up there. And certainly, again, wagering on the Lakers being able to attract talent, it's not a bad bet. And he's already cashed in on it. So it's not irrational. But, signing this now is not the most efficient way of, being on a championship contender. And so, the Lakers aren't there yet. Maybe in 6 months we'll look back at this and say, boy, he knew that this was going to happen and they were going to execute this certain trade and, he'll look good. But you could make the case that he is not maximizing his chance to win a championship by signing this contract now. And I don't have a problem with it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, his legacy is long since set in stone.
Yeah.
And, he's going to, in the near future, become the all-time scoring leader. And he's going to do that in the Laker uniform. And no matter what anybody thinks, that's going to happen. And he doesn't owe anybody anything. Now, he lives in a world where he's constantly compared to players who have more championships. And, people start counting on their fingers and counting the rings. And that's just going to be the reality. But his life, he doesn't think he owes anybody anything, doesn't have to prove anything. And I think that had some effect on his decision to sign right now.
And is it possible he's going to be the last one to wear number 6, and that might be something that's a new thing for him to think about? I mean, I don't know how many people are wearing number 6 right now that the league rightfully is hanging it up in the memory of Bill Russell, and they announced that. I mean, that's got to mean something. I mean, as long as we're talking about legacy plays, play as long as you want in a spot where you love playing. Maybe you play with your son here, right? And you're the last one. Bill Russell wore 6. He's the last one to wear number 6. I mean, that's got to mean something to the guy. The whole thing.
Yeah, I think there's 22 or so guys who wear number 6. I don't know how many of them are going to switch or whatever.
Right.
In theory, they're all allowed to wear it out. They're grandfathered in. But I remember, I think it was when LeBron met Bill Russell. I was there, and I remember talking to Bill Russell about LeBron. And, I didn't know Bill Russell. He was way before my time. I didn't get to cover him or anything like that. It was the only time I ever talked to Bill Russell. But I remember the day that they met, and I remember Bill, talking about how LeBron was 18 at the time. And I can remember Bill had this, and I remember is this laugh, this very loud, resounding laugh. But anyway, I remember him saying, I was pretty good at 18, but I was not as good as this kid. And he couldn't believe how LeBron was able to handle everything. And so, when he switched to 6, not necessarily because of Bill Russell, but because of his experience with the Olympics, which was the first, in the Olympics back then, you could only pick numbers 1 through 15. Mm-hmm. And so you had, or maybe 1 through 12, actually. So you had to pick 1 through 12. And Kobe was able to pick 8 because that was part of the reason with, he didn't have to switch his number. So LeBron picked 6. And is also partially an ode to Julius Erving, who wore 6 too. But obviously, there's now going to be a connection between the two of them because of wearing number 6. And I think LeBron would love to do something that could get number 6 elevated to the rafters in LA. I don't know if he's got enough time to do that. But he's going to have his number retired with 2 other franchises. The number does mean something to him.